Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of Vanderpump Rules Season 8, Episode 2, Training Days. Episode 2 opens at Brittany and Jax's house. Brittany is getting herself all glammed up for a boudoir photo for her wedding present to Jax. And Stassi and Lala are on their way over to help out. Stassi for styling and Lala for sex appeal or something. I don't know. But of course, in Brittany's confessional, she gets confused about how to pronounce boudoir. Yeah. I think she actually says it right at first, and then she said, or is it boudoir? Boudoir? Boudoir. She finally settles on boudoir. In Stassi's confessional, she said, if I ever did a boudoir photo for Beau, it would be me completely dressed up as Daenerys in a tub full of ranch dressing. I mean, who could resist that? Playboy? Now the girls are talking. They ask Stassi how she's holding up after being at her grandmother's funeral, and she said it was hard, but it was also like a celebration, and she has decided she's gonna just have like a fresh start. Now they're talking about Kristen, of course. Kristen and Carter. Brittany talks about how all I ever wanted was my wedding. I've been thinking about my wedding my whole life. Because now they're filling in Stassi on the party that the Schwartzes had for their housewarming. They told her that Carter came too. So now they're wondering if Carter is going to come to the bachelorette party that's going to be in Miami. Brittany just doesn't want drama because I'm getting married in a month from tomorrow. It's just something I've been dreaming about since I was a little girl, so I'm trying real hard to smooth things over for her, but I just don't want there to be a problem. I mean, Brittany is sweet as could be, but do you think she's going to be a little bit of a bridezilla? Maybe? Anyway, Brittany doesn't think Carter should come if they're not together anymore. She basically said it's kind of like Kristen and a +1. It isn't that like Carter is part of our group now. Then Lala said, guess where I'm going right after this? The studio. And they're like, oh, that's cool. And she said, yeah, and I invited Jameson. Brittany's like, James? What? She tells them that she's trying to start over fresh with him, and Stassi's like, okay, I'm not going to tell you I told you so, but just know that I'm thinking it right now. The next scene is at Villa Rosa, and Lisa is working out with her trainer. Brett! Yes, it is the jerk, the new server, it's Sir. Apparently he's also a personal trainer, or Lisa's at least. Why? He's not that hot either. Do you guys think he's that great looking? I don't. In his confessionals, that double necklace on the outside of his shirt, I'm not feeling that. Anyway, they end up talking about Sheena. Lisa's like, oh, has she been nice to you? And he's like, oh, yeah, I mean, maybe too nice. In his confessional, he's like, I mean, Sheena and I kissed for maybe 2 seconds, and now she's acting like I got down on one knee with a 6-carat diamond. Oh my God, we're just friends. I feel like I'm going to have to hold a dictionary up to her and show her what the definition of the word friend means. Ew, I don't think I could hate this guy anymore. Next, we are at Sir, and we are introduced to a new cast member, Charli. She's going to be a new server. Sheena comes and Peter tells her that she needs to train Charli and Dayna, who we met last week. And probably Brett, I guess. She's supposed to be training. I don't know. Well, Sheena is not having Dayna. In Sheena's confessional, she's extremely catty. And she's like, up until yesterday, I only knew Dayna as the girl I would walk right past as I walked into my friend's bar. Okay, Sheena. She's talking about the fact that Dayna used to be the hostess at Tom Tom. She goes on to say, now I know her is not only the girl who's f***ing her boss, but my leftovers. Sheena, come on, girl. You're better than this. She's making her polish all the glasses in the patio and then dust the shelves and everything that Stassi did to her when she was the new girl starting. Yeah, I don't know if it's like a rite of passage or if Sheena just wants to be the bully now. Dayna actually confronts Sheena and asks her if she did something to upset her. And she's like, no. And she's like, okay, is it like the Max thing? Because Sheena's like, no, everything's cool. No, it's just Max and I were friends. And he called me boy crazy. And I'm like, okay, well, how about you stop sleeping with the staff? And like, we all know you're hooking up with him. And Dayna's like, okay, well, it's very new. And I don't want to cause any problems if this is an issue for you. Sheena goes, no, it's perfectly fine. No, it's fine. We're just friends. I'm not with him or anything. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. You are so cool about this, Sheena. Doesn't look like it's bothering you at all. Okay, now we are in the recording studio with Lala and her brother Easton, who's recording the song, and James comes in. It's a little awkward. Lala asks the others to leave so she can talk one-on-one with James. She said, I have seen the great James Kennedy, but when you screw up, it makes it easier for everybody else to just write you off. She says, I know you can be a really great guy, but then you've done some really fucked up shit. James, what fucked up shit have I done? Oh, Lala's like, seriously? Then she goes through the laundry list of things he's done. Well, you body shame people? James, well, yeah. You called me a whore. Yeah. You called Brittany a hillbilly? Yeah, that wasn't nice. Yeah, oh, okay, fine. You can stop now. He's now remembering. So James admits that he's been terrible, and Lala said, well, how can we prevent that from happening in the future? James said, well, I definitely feel like I'm in a better headspace now. You know, I'm taking a reel in on the drinking, and I'm older now. You know, I'm 27, and I feel like I'm growing up a bit. And Lala said, yeah, okay. So he said, if you will consider it squashed, I'll consider it squashed. And she's like, it's squashed with me, baby. Next, we're going to go back and forth between two scenes. Dayna and Max out on their date in a restaurant, and Sheena, Ariana, and Danica, who is the other new character. Although, did we see her last year? She's the assistant manager at SUR. And I believe we may have seen her at the very end of last season. I could be wrong about that. Ariana tells us in her confessional that Danica is the assistant manager at SUR, and she's currently suspended because she shoved her bartender boyfriend after he suggested they do a threesome. And she goes, so basically she's a SUR girl. And also a real good friend of Sheena because she's talking smack about Max. Sheena tells them that she's kind of hazing Dayna, and she tells them that Max is seeing her. And she's like, what? Danica said, Max is so thirsty. I introduced him to a couple of my friends, and he had sex with both of them. And they're like, what? And she goes, not in the same night. And he told them that he owned a small piece of Tom Tom. So they're laughing, and Danica goes, so I hope this Dayna doesn't think she's anything special. And, oh, you know, Sheena is eating this up because, you know, she doesn't care. Cut over to Max and Dayna on their date. Dayna's like, what is going on with you and Sheena? Because she's really being hard on me, and if you guys are not still seeing each other, I'm not sure why that's a problem. And he said, we're not still seeing each other, and did you ever know like why we broke up? And she said no. And she asked them how long they were seeing each other, and he said about a month. And he said that she told him she was going off birth control and she was freezing her eggs. And he's like, you know, I mean, she's older than me, that's fine, no, that's not a big deal, but like it was kind of a lot so early on. In Dayna's confessional, she goes, telling a 27-year-old boy that you're going off birth control is like yelling fire in a movie theater. You think anyone's gonna see the end of that movie? Oh, I still kind of like her. Anyway, then Max tells Dayna that he left his sunglasses at the Schwartz's after the housewarming party, and he went back there the next day to get them, and Lala was over, and he said that Katie and Lala really liked you. And she goes, oh, that's nice. And then we see a flashback, and they did. Katie's like, and I don't usually like any new girl. And Lala's like, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no kidding. You don't like anybody, Katie. Then he said that Lala said that you guys were talking about your mom a little bit. And he said, I didn't know that whole story. So apparently Dayna's mother got brain cancer when she was in college and she died. I don't know how long after that, but she said that her mom was always very supportive of her and told her she could be a comedian. I guess that's what she wants to do. And she said, so now she's part of my act. Anyway, she's performing and Max is going to come and see her. Back over to the others, Ariana tells us in her confessional that she hasn't worked at SUR in a couple of months since she's been working on her book. You know, she and Tom have that like cocktail book that just came out. And I guess she's getting a little bored now. And so she would kind of like to come back for at least a little bit, maybe one day a week. But she realizes that she has to kiss the ring of Lisa Vanderpump. Because things didn't end so great between them last year. I don't know if you guys remember, but Ariana kind of went at Lisa saying that she didn't like the way Lisa was treating them like two stupid little boys. And she was basically trying to defend Sandaval. But, you don't come at Lisa Vanderpump, okay? That's a given. Okay, now we're getting a montage of a bunch of little scenes. Stassi goes to Beau's, I guess, is Beau a casting director or he's got a casting business? Something. Anyway, she goes there and brings him lunch. They end up talking about Kristen and Carter. She tells him, can you believe after the conversation I had with her in her apartment that she invited Carter to the housewarming party? And he's like, from now on, she needs to not come cry on your shoulder about him. We cut to Vanderpump Dogs where Lisa and Lala are also talking about Kristen and Carter. Then we're in a vintage store where Brittany, Katie, Kristen, and Ariana are trying on tacky wedding dresses to wear in Miami to the bachelorette party. And they're talking about Kristen and Carter. Katie actually apologizes for the party where they got mad at each other and then Kristen laughed. They hug and she said, I want you to be happy. That's all, Kristen. I just want you to be happy. And she's like, I know. And it's complicated. And Brittany is still trying to not have any part of her wedding festivities get ruined. She's like, so, maybe you take a little break from him. And if that means going to Miami without him, maybe that's what you need to do. I mean, she's probably right, but it's just so obvious that her real concern is that they not ruin her bachelorette parties. The next scene is at Tom Tom with Sandaval, Schwartz, and Max. They're kind of teasing Max about his dating life and everything, but he does say he's dating Dayna now and he really kind of likes her. And I think he does like her because she is smart and funny, but they're teasing him and it comes out that Danica told them that he told some girl he owned part of Tom Tom. And he's like, what? And they're like, yeah, Danica told us that. And he said, no, I know what this was. We were hanging out and I said, hey, do you guys want to come back to my bar? I just meant the bar I work at, not that I owned it. Okay, that makes sense to me. And if you worked somewhere, you would say that. Come back to my bar, come back to my restaurant, or if you worked there. I totally understand that. It's just that the way Danica told it was that he said, I own a portion of it. Like it was pretty specific, not come back to my bar. So I don't know who to believe at this point. I think Danica is a little bit of a pot stirrer, so I'm not sure I trust her. I don't really know what I think about her yet. And I don't think I like Max, but we'll see. I just haven't decided yet who I believe on that one. Next is basically a throwaway scene. It's Jax and Brittany going to the jewelry designer who made their rings. She's picking up all these earrings that she's getting for the bridesmaids for their gift. Bravo kind of zooms in on Jax's foot because his leg is shaking and it's like he's nervous every time they go in there because it's just so much money. In Jax's confessional, he said, Brittany's always moving the budget and she doesn't think I notice, but I do. I mean, it's not like we're Meghan Markle and, what, that other guy, what's his name? Oh my God. You can remember Meghan Markle's name, but you can't remember Prince Harry? Come on. It's such a Jax thing, though. Okay, now it's nighttime, and we're back at Sir. The restaurant is busy, and Sheena is there with Charli and Dayna. And of course, she is grilling Dayna on the specials of the day. So Dayna gets it mostly right, except she says that the soups are tomato bisque and tomato basil, something like that. Sheena, tomato bisque and tomato basil? And Dana's like, lobster bisque, I meant. Okay, she got one single thing wrong. I would like to know if Charli has the specials memorized. Anyway, she said, sorry, I know I've been like hard on you and stuff. I promise you, it's not about Max. It's just, you know, like how you click with someone. Like, I feel like I clicked with her right away, meaning Charli, and just not clicking with you. That is so rude. And Dayna said, are you sure this isn't about Max? No, totally not about Max. If I was Dayna, I would be like, oh, okay, great. So you just don't like me for no reason then. In Dayna's confessional, though, she goes, oh, girlfriend is threatened. I think she's right. So Ariana comes into the bar and she goes to talk to Lisa and asks her if she can work there one day a week. And Lisa is confused by that. And she said, you know, it's just mystifying to me that someone who worked for me for 10 years and basically came after me would want to work here at all. So why do you? And you know, honestly, this whole conversation turns around to Lisa discovering that Ariana is depressed. Yeah, and is actually kind of helping her through it a little, and ends up saying that she'll think about it. I don't know, that conversation did not end the way I thought it was going to. Next, everybody is at the venue. I think it's called the Federal, and that's where Dayna is going to do her comedy set. As I said before, Max is there, but also Tom Sandaval and Ariana, Tom Schwartz, and Lala. Katie is home with Stassi, who is over there helping her decorate her new home. She's trying to make the bedroom more feminine. So Stassi has brought white bedding and a cowhide rug and her favorite candle so that it smells like me in here. I love Stassi. I love that Stassi wants Katie and Tom's bedroom to smell like her. Oh, God. She went on their honeymoon with them. Do you guys remember that? I love her. Okay, back at the comedy club, Dayna gets on stage and it's not half bad. She's actually pretty funny. At one point, she asks the audience, so who here has been in a toxic relationship with a dude? Ariana's like, oh, yeah. And she raises her hand and Lala raises her hand and Tom Sandaval raises his hand. He's so cute. So then Dayna says, yeah, me too. But, you know, my dad's not all bad. So, you know, she's kind of funny. Okay, the next scene is at Kristens' old apartment. She's got to move out in 2 days, and Katie and Jax are there helping her move. I don't know why Katie and Jax. That just seemed like an odd pairing, but that's who's there. Oh, and Jax is there with an agenda because he told Brittany that he would be the bad guy and he would be the one to tell Carter he couldn't go on the trip to Miami. So he asked her, where's Carter? And she said he's at the house dropping some things off. In Jax's confessional, he's like, why is Carter helping her move? It's not like he owns a moving van. He's got a 2-seater BMW that Kristen pays the payments on. So why is he helping? While they're there, Carter calls her. And of course, he's on speakerphone. And it becomes apparent that this is more than he's just helping her move. Like, he's picking out doors with somebody and all that. And she's like, okay, you know, I have to make these decisions. You can't make them without me. Yeah, it's Kristen's house that she told us that he wasn't even going to move into, that he was moving in with a friend. So she gets off the phone and Jax asks her, is Carter moving in with you? And her reply is, At this point, no, he is not. At this point. Okay. That sounds suspicious. So Jax finally says to her, are you two together? Yes or no? Just tell me. And she said, no, we're not. And he said, okay, then I'm going to tell him he can't come to Miami. Is that okay with you? And she said, good luck. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But Jax just said, okay, when he gets here, I'm going to have a chat with him, man to man. Kristen says, I don't know if we should be together. And I don't know if we should not be together. And Jax is saying, I know, because you're vulnerable right now. And he's taking advantage of that. If I were him, I would just keep milking this cow because it's like a free cow. Katie's like, free cow or free milk? And then literally it's like a light bulb goes off in Jax's mind. Oh, why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free, right? Katie gives kind of like a slow nod. But Kristen's like, that's rude. And she's like, why can't he just be sad because he loves me and his family is breaking up? Jax is like, all he has to do is get a job. Everybody has to work. We all have to get jobs. That's all he has to do. He could call Uber, Lyft. They're always hiring. Now Carter walks in. Jax asks him if he can talk to him, and they go in the bedroom, and Katie and Kristen go out on the balcony. He's like, listen, I'm involved in this because Kristen makes it everybody's business. So this is where we're at. I think you should just take a break. I think you should take a month off. Carter said, do you really think that's a good idea? And he goes, I do. Just to get away from this and like breathe. Carter goes, how often do you think I'm going to get to see her then with her in the valley and me? And Jax goes, you're not supposed to see her. That's the point of a break. Carter said, well, don't you think Kristen should make that decision? And he goes, she can't. She's vulnerable right now. That's why maybe you should do it for her. And Carter said, well, that's not what I want. Now, this is when we find out how manipulative Carter is, because he said, I already told Kristen, if I'm gone, you're not going to have anybody to talk to. I want her to know that this is what's going to happen because I'm the only one she ever calls. And Jax goes, come on, man, you can't do that to her. In his confessional, he's like, that is so manipulative what he's doing to her. It's unbelievable to me. And, Jax and Kristen, not the best of friends, so it really is kind of, I don't know, almost stand-up of Jax to defend her like that. A little surprising. Jax tells Carter, listen, if she needs help with anything, moving or whatever, we're all going to be there for her. So, don't act like nobody's going to be there for her if you aren't. And he said, you know what, listen, she told us that you guys were broken up, so you can't come to Miami. Sorry. And he goes, okay, that's fair. And they walk out of the bedroom, and Kristen and Katie come into the living room too. And then Kristen and Carter hug. Kristen looks like she's going to start crying. And Katie and Jax just kind of look at each other awkwardly while those two are hugging. And that is where this episode ends. I don't know what I think about it all. I feel bad for Kristen. I think her friends need to understand that this is just a lot harder than they think it is for her. And maybe be a little bit more gentle with her. I guess the point is that they're fed up with her crying on their shoulder and then going back to him and crying on their shoulder and going back. And I can understand that too. So I think it's just complicated. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you liked this recap, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed to Jill Informed, please consider doing so. And don't forget to leave a comment down below. I love to hear from you, and I will see you next week. Bye.